Alrighty, so I'm back. I took a few days off. I had a friend visiting from out of town, and I just wanted to spend all 3 or 4 days that I had with him, because I don't get to see him very often. But the whole time I was hanging out with him, I kept thinking about this one story time that I haven't told yet, and that I've been waiting to tell for such a long time, because it really is just that insane in my opinion. Uh, I don't know if it's the most insane story I'll ever tell, but it's up there. I definitely look back on this moment with a lot of like, oh wow, I'm so glad that it didn't go the other way. So yeah, let's jump into it. I hope you enjoyed today's story time. If you do, please leave a like on the video and let's jump into it. So, today's story time all takes place in 2017. It was January 2017. The brand new year had just started. I had literally turned 18 like a few months prior in October of 2016. And I was living good. I was happy, doing well. Things were great. I was single. Yeah, that was my life at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend or anything. I was just kind of hanging out, enjoying being single. What that meant is I just pretty much sat around all day by myself and played video games. So not much has changed even while I'm in a relationship. But anyway, yeah, things weren't bad. And one day I'm in my room at 18 years old. This was the month before I moved to LA, right? So things were just looking great for me. I was very excited. I thought nothing could go wrong. Well, I was sitting in my room at 18, on my phone, laying in bed, just kind of like scrolling Twitter, doing nothing, and a text pops up on my phone from my ex. Now, nobody likes getting text messages from their ex. That's never a good thing, usually. But this one was a little bit different. So I get this text message from my ex, right? And it just says, hey. So I reply to it, and I just say, what's up? And she replies and goes, can you call me? I have something to tell you. Now, I hadn't talked to this girl in literally a year at this point. It had just been 12 months. So I did not know what she could possibly want, but the curiosity got the best of me, so I called her. I call her up. She answers. She's like, hello. I'm like, hey, it's Austin. Like, you want to talk to me? She's like, yeah. How do I say this? And she's like sighing and like taking forever to get to it. And I'm like, what's up? Like, you can tell me. And she was like, okay, I had a kid just about 2 months ago, and I think he's yours. Now, I can't even begin to explain the emotions that flowed through me when I heard this. First of all, it was, oh shit. That was the first thing I felt, was just, oh shit. Second was, oh no. And third was, oh fuck. Yeah. Listen, there is nothing wrong with having a child. Even if you're younger and you want a kid, that's fine. If you can do it and support the kid and give him a happy life, or her, fucking great. Good for you. At the time, though, your boy just turned 18. I had just started making like actual money, so I mean that was good. But I was about to move across the country. That wasn't good. Basically, like my whole life was about to get put on hold. That's what my brain was thinking. So anyway, I respond to her and I'm like, okay, why do you think that? And she's like, well, I know when we were together, even though it wasn't long, it was only a couple months, there was a few times we hooked up and we didn't use protection. Now, before I go any further, let me say, she was right, that was true, and that is why you always use protection. Not only for pregnancy prevention, but also STDs, STIs, all that stuff. Like, I know I'm not a health teacher, but fucking use protection. I don't care. Listen to me. Anyway, yeah, she says this, and I was like, yeah, I remember, you're right. So then I asked her, I was like, is there a chance that it could be somebody else's? And she was like, possibly, but I really think it's yours. And I was like, what do you mean possibly? She was like, I hooked up with a guy a week after we broke up. Let me pause real quick. That did not feel good to hear after being told that I might have a kid. But anyway, she was like, yeah, I hooked up with this guy a week after we had broken up, but I used protection with him, so I don't think it's his. And I'm like, okay. So it's probably not his, it's probably mine. Gotcha. And at this point, I just accepted it. I was like, okay, I have a son now. Cool. So my next question was, why didn't you tell me throughout your entire pregnancy? Why did you wait the entire 9, 10 months, whatever, to tell me? And she was like, because honestly, I didn't want to believe it. And I was just planning on taking care of it myself and not burdening you with the responsibility of a child, especially because I know you're about to move and all this stuff. But I just couldn't not tell you. I felt too guilty. And I was like, yeah, you should have told me earlier. I'm not, like, evil. I'm not going to fucking just, like, disappear after you tell me. And she was like, yeah, I know. I didn't want to believe it, honestly. And I was like, fair enough, fair enough. So at this point, the conversation was definitely pretty awkward. I can't lie. I mean, it's not every day you get called and you're like, hey, you have a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely not how most people find out. So I was like, okay, well, what do we do now? And she was like, I think, like, getting DNA testing would be a good idea to make sure it's yours. And honestly, I had already accepted that it was probably mine because it just wouldn't make any sense for her to have a kid with somebody while using protection, and we didn't. So I figured it really just had to be mine, like 100%. But she said, like, DNA testing. So I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. So she called the other dude up and got him to agree to do DNA testing, and I already agreed. So we did DNA testing, right? I had to, like, go to this lab and get my cheek swabbed with a fucking swab thingy and then wait for the results, right? And so did the other dude. And by the way, after I got tested, I went to her house to, like, talk to her about just the potential future of how things might go and, like, what we would need to do. And just, like, also catch up because it had been a long time. And I met the child. And let me tell you, this little guy looked like me, all right? He looked like me as a baby. It scared the shit out of me. I can't lie. It just confirmed right then and there, like, I had a son. And about a week later, right, I'm at my house. I'm in my room, just anxiety on 100 all week. I get a phone call from her, my ex. I answer, and the first thing she says, without saying hello, is just, "You're off the hook." And I was like, I'm off the hook? She goes, yep, he is not your baby. And I was like, are you sure? Like, he looked a lot like me. And she was like, I know, but he's not yours. It's the other dude's. And I was like, are you sure? She goes, do you want to raise him? And I was like, it's not that. I'm just confused. He looks a lot like me when I was younger. And she was like, I know, but if you saw the other dude, like, you guys kind of look alike. And I was like, did you hook up with my brother or something? Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, no, dumbass. Like, you just have similar faces. I don't know. Now, I was so, like, in disbelief. We tested again. I had to do it. I literally just, I'm telling you, when I saw this kid, he looked just like me. So we tested again, and once again, came back completely not mine. It was this other guy's, and I actually saw a photo of him after the second test and, like, what he looked like. And yeah, he kind of does look like me. It was kind of weird, I can't lie. She definitely has a type. Don't really know why, but she seemed to like the skinny, pale, look like they're about to die, dark bags under the eye guy. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we took 2 tests. Both came back negative when it came to me being the father. And I guess technically I was not the father. So I didn't go any further from that point forward. And I will say, years down the line, like a year ago, I actually ran into her, my ex, at the store. And she had the kid with her. And he's a lot more grown now. And, like, could actually talk, which was crazy. He looked nothing like me anymore. So, yeah, luckily, all in all, it was just one big scare. But in the end, things worked out. And she's actually a kick-ass mom. From what I've seen on Facebook and, like, on social media, and just, like, running into her that day, and how happy the kid looked, and the things she was getting for him, she looked like she was really enjoying being a parent, and I respect that. So, shout out to her. And I guess the other dude, even though I don't know anything about him, hopefully he's being a good dad. I don't know. But yeah, needless to say, this fucking scared the life out of me. I'm definitely a lot more careful nowadays. You know, not saying I couldn't have a kid and, like, be a good father and support him. I think I could, but I'm just not ready yet. You know, maybe in my 30s that'll be a thing, but I'm still a young dude, so I'm not ready for that yet. But anyway, guys, moral of this story is, like I said, I know I'm not your sex ed teacher, but use protection, please. Yeah, that is the moral. I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace. Lay down. I'll be in LA. I'll be